Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to our show today. It's a special day. We have Alireza Masrour joining us from Plug and Play Ventures here in Silicon Valley. So, hello, Alireza. How are you today?
Good. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for having me here. Love
Sure.
the show and see what we can talk about.
Absolutely. There's lots to talk about. We're just commenting upon how active the year has been already with startups and technology innovation. So we have a lot to talk about. Okay, so for those who have just joined us for this show for the first time, let me just say a few words about what we do. Silicon Dragon Ventures, I started in 2010. It seems like a lifetime ago. And I'm a writer, editor, founder, online host, and I'm writing for CNBC as well about technology innovation, disruptive innovation, and I'm also doing these series of online shows, Ask a VC Anything, which we started it during COVID and it's still going, and a couple of books later, 4 books. Whether there'll be a fifth one or not, to be seen, but maybe. And I would like to introduce our guest speaker today. So also, I want to tell you that if you have any questions for Alireza or any comments, you can put those in the chat box. And I'm going to be monitoring that. And Alireza will be able to see your comments too. We're going to be selecting out the best comments. Try not to keep those too self-interested. We're going to talk about the broad trends in venture capital and innovation, evaluations, and all the exciting things going on in our new world today. So let me introduce Alireza now. He's general partner at Plug and Play Ventures here in Silicon Valley, and it's in Sunnyvale. So I understand it's going to get pretty sunny later today, so I'm looking forward to that. He's been at Plug and Play Ventures for 16 years in multiple roles, VP of Technology Investment and Funding Manager. He's led more than 200 investments for the firm. Amazing. 13 unicorns and a lot of exits to big tech companies like Apple and McAfee and Baidu and Facebook. So yeah, it's remarkable. He's originally from Iran, as you can see, and trained as an engineer, and has been at Plug and Play Ventures for 16 years. So, wow. Plug and Play Ventures will let Alireza describe this a little bit more, but here's your bulletin board about it. It's an innovation platform. They have 50 locations globally. They're working round the clock. Alireza's already been on a call this morning with Japan. I think, was it last evening you had the Korean delegation at your headquarters there? So, it's nonstop. When you're doing global venture, it's nonstop. You got to work round the clock. Alireza, do you want to go into a little bit more detail about what Plug and Play Ventures does and how it accelerates startups and how you work with prominent VCs and how you work with corporations to help these startups to scale up? So I'll let you say a few remarks now about Plug and Play Ventures so we understand it better.
Thanks, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. I don't know where you guys are. I wish I could see all of you and we had a camera on, but it's not possible as I have briefed. So, as a plug and play, we have 57 offices on the globe. We have about 700 people. We do about one investment in average per day. We do half and half. Half of those investments are in US, stage agnostic, industry agnostic. And then since PayPal time that we have started, and maybe I should share a little story of plug and play,
Yeah.
then you have some idea. So back 98 or so, the two brothers that they started Plug and Play, they watched and saw a lot of wealthy, good people in Palo Alto that they handing them a business card that say venture capitalists. The idea of them spending good amount of money and then not having any hard asset, more like real estate or the others, get the two brothers excited to use some of their real estate to generate deal flow for being a VC and diversifying from what they do. So back then, when they started, luckily the first company was PayPal. They gave them negotiate as a tenant of them. They gave them 100K at 4 million valuation. That put us on a map as a good investor. Then same building, same place, a good company came named Google. They grew to 50 people, and obviously it's a very good opportunity.
Yeah.
Then Luigi Zappacosta of Logitech walked to the same building. And then Andy Rubin of Tanger, some big names, some good names. And then the two brothers said, okay, this is a very, very good idea for us to diversify and even buy a bigger building, have more of the companies like PayPal, Google in it. So 2006, they bought Plug and Play in Sunnyvale, which I'm talking to you from. And that was a Philips headquarters to have 400, 500 companies at the same time. So long story short, we got good number of unicorns, big names off of that, to the point that we said, okay, you don't need to limit the companies to those walls and have them here all with you. They can be any other places. So the story repeated, and then they started to invest outside. The first attempt outside was a company named Dropbox.
Oh,
100K at 3.85 million pre-money alongside of Sequoia, which is a good friend, VC. And then made a good exit for everyone.
mhm.
So today, when we do invest about, as I said, one company per day, business day or so, we build relationship with 600 of Fortune 1000 companies on the globe. And the relationship is, it's free for the startups, independent the size of it, independent when they are, if they get selected by those corporations. And then when they do pilot, that's a huge value for the company, for the VC of those companies, and so on. So in average per year, we get about 20,000 companies. We help them, about 2,000 of them, to get some sort of traction from the corporations and do pilot, from Daimler, from J&J, you name it, all the big brands name. And then they are outsourcing the innovation scouting to us as a plug and play, and we bring all the startups. At the same time, when we see a good opportunity, that they look at this opportunity of revenue or pilot or contract with the corporation is a good way for us to analyze the company, to do our own due diligence and investing in them. So we have over 30 unicorns, and this machine generates more unicorns than average. The reason is that because we have an unfair advantage of look at the companies with different lens than just interviewing the CEO or look at their financial and so on. So the customer, or the VC is something that we know. I will pause here because I gave you 26 years of history and also and maybe if you have any question or anything, I'm happy to answer.
So they have to pass this corporate benchmark first
Correct.
before you will even look at them, right?
Correct. So it's a corporate driven program. So if the corporations based on the business that you have are in need of your solution, let's say you have a fraud detection solution for e-commerces. And if I'm an e-commerce company, head of innovation or that business unit, look at your business in writing. And then they say, this is interesting. And then they come, not only them, but also Target, Walmart, all the others, retailers or e-commerce companies. You pitch to them. If they say, yes, we are interested to do pilot, you get this and you start to work with them. Working with them definitely will add value to your own business, your valuation and everything, because it's extra logo with the revenue, and every one of you, I'm sure you're aware of how the situation works. So it's corporate driven. They select, but obviously the relationship that we have with the CEO and the corporations and the feedback that we get from them, helping us to do a better investment.
I see. So then how do you help them scale up? What's your process of doing that? I know you invest in them and you bring in other venture firms, right? But what else do you do?
So Sometimes for finding right person in this big corporation, it takes 18 months, 24 months, a year or so. For us, based on the relationship that we have with the corporation, we do have that person. And what you can do in 3 months with not only that corporation, but also their entire spectrum of the corporations that we partner, let's say in average, we have about 50 corporations on each vertical or the programs or the locations that we have. So then it helps to move the needle for any companies to sign the deal, to do the pilot, and then if your solution go into one of the Daimler cars, you have all the credentials to raise more money, to get more companies, to get more customers, or hire more people on your own site. At the same time, for
Okay.
us, is a good validation. If Daimler is a good OEM, is a good car maker, saying this is a good idea, then why we should be worried about it as much? We can invest.
Okay, so give me an example of a pilot project you worked with on Mercedes, Daimler, and that's now being used in one of their vehicles.
So there have been, this partnership has been in Stuttgart with Daimler for quite some years.
Okay,
And there are over hundreds of pilots has been done. Off of the new models going to the market, at least 4 or 5 of them is directly come from the plug and play relationship between the companies and them, and they do that. And then they are very fast and thinking moving forward faster than most of the OEMs. However, we have this relationship with Porsche, we have this relationship with BMW, Nissan, and my colleagues on the mobility side can put comment on every single of them because they monitor all the pilots and what's going on.
yeah.
But the value is a two-sided. It's not just one side, the startup benefit. They benefit from it because at this market, your R&D can go to some level, they can increase, but new ideas at the fraction of cost on the startup side can come and revolutionize the future of any company. We don't know who is that. They don't know, but the startups don't know either. But when they come all together, when you put all the good, smart brains in one place, magic happens.
So what's an example of a technology that's in this Mercedes-Benz vehicle? I saw these beautiful Mercedes-Benz vehicles on the Consumer Electronics show floor.
So,
And they were all equipped with the latest gadgets, technologies, very shiny. So were any of the pilot projects that you worked on in this new vehicle?
so, so one of the companies I talked to you about, early stage companies that they started and they grew at this. One of the companies started from this building out of Stanford. There were 4 people. The company name was SoundHound. Later on, they went public and it's a unicorn right now, but not Daimler only work with them and add their solution to their vehicles that is like a Siri type voice command for the cars, but also Daimler invested in the company early
I
days.
see.
So whenever right now you put a command over there on the dashboard with your voice or you humming for getting a song to come up for you to listen, that's the technology that cooked when they were 4 people at Plug and Play, all the way going public. And Daimler not only is a good customer and partner of the company, but also they were an investor too.
Win-win. What's the name of that company? How do you spell it?
Hound,
Say it again.
Sound Hound.
Oh, SoundHound. Okay, yeah, sure. I've definitely heard of it. It's a great name too. All right. So mobility is an exciting area for sure. And there are other areas that you're focused on too. So, but you're involved in so many of these industry sectors. I don't know how you actually keep track of what's going on in each one of these. There's what, 30 different industry sectors that you invest in?
Yeah, the way that it works, the corporations are the one that on each vertical dictating what they are looking for next 5 years or so.
I
That
see.
a good lens to see the future ahead of the others based on their need. And the startups from university, the number of patents, number of IPs getting filed and so on, all the way up whenever they are 100 million plus revenue, telling us what is out there. And then this world that we are living in Silicon Valley or other places right now, is we live in the future. No one comes and tells you about yesterday or the year before. They all come and say, okay, we want to build this one because that's going to look like this. We want to do this one because it's going to be like that. And then some of the examples that I want to share is a story, let's say two brothers, twin brothers. They came from Babson College and they said, you know what? When you're at the school, when you're a student, you get bored. You want to get out of the campus. You want to go and do something. Go to the bar, go to different places and enjoy your night, enjoy your day, wherever you can go.
Sure.
But you
Yeah.
don't have enough money to have your own car. You don't have money to use Uber because it may be a lot of money. How about if we do a business that it helps us to rent a parked car over there at the campus, that whoever owns that car, they don't use it. But we go out, we use it, 4 of us, 5 of us, and we pay whoever has it. So car sharing inside of the campus. So we said, okay, very interesting idea. Do it. So they grew on most or 600, 500 campuses. And then the bigger issue came out. That was about their insurance. So as a young driver, your insurance is already high enough. If you're going to rent it out to another young driver, so the risk is going to go much higher for the insurer. And then they stopped the program. They thought, okay, this is a bigger problem because the insurance company, they want to de-risk, and those rental companies and the others, they want to have less pay for insurances. So they launched a Lula. The name of the company is Lula. They launched a platform named Lula Platform to help the fleet management companies and car rentals and all of those to have access to better real-time case-by-cases insurances, like API of all the insurances, like what Stripe did for credit cards, they did for insurances. For a fleet company, they buy this like umbrella insurance, they pay $5 million or so, but if they go case by cases, they save millions of dollars per year. So these two very young twin brothers, they started with that business, and then they changed it to fix a bigger problem with the insurances. In 2 years, from 0 revenue, they went to 40 million revenue. And sometimes it's hard to see it, but when you trust a right team that they have passion about what they want to do, this happens. And you could see on their eyes how smart, how persistent they are. And they did it. So getting, I don't know how old they are, maybe 23, 24, getting to 40 million revenue from 0 in 2 years is not something easy. You need to be very smart and you need to be very nimble. At the same time, you need to identify the big problems to solve it. Okay, you can go and solve a lot of problems, but how big are those problems? That's the opportunity in front of you. So we see a lot of those stories, and that's what gets me excited every day at 5 to get up, be at the office at 6:36, look at those companies and learn about them and see where we can help them. And the joy of this job is whenever you're matching A to B, and then they send you an email, thank you, we just got a term sheet. Thank you, we just signed a contract. Thank you, we just did that. So that's the best part of this job. Obviously,
Absolutely.
we lose a lot of money too, but we use those experience to help the others to not do the same mistake.
Excellent. Excellent. So what are some of the big problems in the world that you're seeing that innovations could solve?
Any place that you look, you can find a problem. But the question is that how fast you can fix that problem, and if you're the right person to do fixing that problem or not. But there's no lack of opportunity. There is not as someone that I've seen, I don't know, 100,000 companies reviewed at least. Fundamentally, the problem is something, yes, smart thinkers will go to fix it. As a human, you love to have challenge and go fix the challenge. But some of these are not a problem, or something that is changing your world. Let's say what's happening with AI right now, scaling the humanity outside of us. I remember you, I remember a lot of good friends, but I don't remember 100,000 people you have met in last 10 years or so. But this machine, this AI, remember everything. Think of you using that as an extension of your brain. You will remember everything. You don't need to guess anymore. You know when, how you met Rebecca. You know what was the context of it. You know all the conversation that you have had. That's phenomenal. So it's a God gift for us to living in this period of time to have access to those technologies and what's going on out there. It can apply to the healthcare, it can apply to flights, it can apply to any business.
Right.
But every aspect of that is exciting for not me, not you, for everyone.
Yeah. In the energy area, a lot of advancements in that field, and we know that there are a lot of issues around the environment and energy. So can you talk about some of your scale ups that are addressing that area?
So on the energy, obviously, what California has been the head and moving forward would be, so renewable is going to change it. But I will tell you some of simple, very simple tricks that make changes. So assume you don't have bandwidth, you don't have money, you don't have know-how to install solar on your roof. But with very simple battery, you can store the power when the rate is down, use it when the rate is up. You're contributing to this a better environment for your kids, for our kids, and for everyone. That helps. From that simple action, you can do it. Scaling up from the battery to EV, it helps. Scaling up from having on your roof solar, it helps. So the source of energy will get diversified. It will get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And then there are a lot of companies that the software comes and help for switching at the right time. So you may have different sources. You can switch it at the grid level. We work with a lot of good energy, big energy companies. And you will be surprised how these big ideas, good ideas coming out of good universities in US and around the world.
Right, absolutely. And what are some of the companies that you work with in the energy sector?
So one of them that I really like it is a company named Singularity Energy out of Harvard. And this company helping grids inside of the system at the level of the building and so on to be more greener.
Let's see.
And when they started, they were too early from the market. But now I can see how smart the founder has been, that he painted, he draw everything for at least me. That's how the market will look like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
I see. Yeah, that's hard to do. Hard to map out the future of your business and to get it right, to implement the right strategies, to scale up and get that revenue growth and get those deals with the major companies. And so your strategy for plug and play actually helps to make that a lot easier. And so look, what are some of the other companies that are actually supporting these startups? So you said Mercedes, Daimler Benz, is Chevron or, P&G, or just give us a few other names of companies that you work closely with.
There are a lot of companies, or 600 of them. We love all of them because they're our partner, so you can see them. But before I love to answer the question that is here, that if AI will help to write a code. So when as a human, when you write a code, you will make a mistake. You run it, you get the exe file, you run it, and then you file your error. But as a machine, there is no error. As a human, as you advancing your experience, you have your own snippet. You know where you store it, you go and grab it, and you do basically patch it, and you do the code faster as you experience. But from the first second, the AI knows that they can bring all the patches. But yes, it's gonna replace a lot of engineers and coders, but only will advance them as well, so they can do more, and the world will move faster. And then you asking how much better is in 1 or 2 years is the same way that the human as type is getting experience exponentially faster, the machine will do that. So in 1 year, 2 years, I believe it will do as experience of 10, 20 years of a coder. But as you age, you're getting slow on thinking and fixing, but the machine doesn't age. That will revolutionize on the coding side. And then that's phenomenal. You see that on what's going to happen for education, what's going to happen for labor market. Is not going to push out the human. Human is not something can get replaced, but human should do human's job, not the machine's job.
Right. Right. Yeah, that always is the answer. Like the AI will take over these menial tasks, all those administrative kind of tasks, leaving the human to be more creative and intelligent about what they're doing. So that's pretty much across the board in all of these fields. So that's why AI is so exciting. And it's also why AI is getting such huge valuations from Microsoft and Amazon and other companies. What do you think about what do you think about those huge valuations? Is that here to stay? Are we going to see a repeat of the dot-com boom where some AI startups don't make it and we see AI going down?
So there are different fundamentals when you're getting evaluation. Something new comes. Obviously, all these AI companies, they have potential to help and then save money, revolutionize any industry. All of them gonna make it? No. It's like every single other startups on different industries. So 10% of them will make it big. But the big valuation that they're getting is because of the need for it. When it's a surge of demand, the valuation goes up.
Mm-hmm.
When there are enough of those, as you ask here, if there is a code getting piled on top of each other through machine, so the valuation will go down because the surge demand getting less and less. And then people will need less, so the valuation will cool down. But at this point, some of these companies growing super fast. We have had a company that they are helping AI for the consumers, for the retailers to be in touch with their customers. It is great way of helping your customer because it's not subject, is not a human be tired answering the phone and not listening to the question or repetitive tasks that they do it every day. The machine is very precise. You come and ask where I can get that beauty product. They say, okay, here is the stores near you, aisle 2, this is the price. Wait 2 days, it will not sell. Do this one, do that one. So that's phenomenal. And it's a fraction of the time and cost. So each time that someone calling a call center is going to cost at least $20. But if AI and machines doing that, it's not going to cost as much. You do it once, and then they look at it, and then look at the inventory, tell you if they have it or not have it, and then take it.
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting about AI development is that so much of it is centered in Silicon Valley. And I think that this is giving Silicon Valley a real boost in the tech world. What's your view on that?
So this is a question that I have answered a few times, and I love to answer again. I will say smart people are everywhere, but perception of smart people and good opportunities are in Silicon Valley. Yes and no, because the smart people come here because it's a dense and the competition between the investors is very high. So you as a startup benefit for being in this environment. Is this ecosystem helping you to grow? But yes, same company in Hong Kong, the same company in New York, the same company in Singapore can grow. But how big they can get, that's the question. We we sometimes, I will use myself, we see a good idea and the person is talking about something in the future. If they are presenting from Far East, we say this is crazy. But if they are presenting inside of the Stanford and we're sitting here, we watch it, we say the guy is genius. These are some of the biases that we have, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But some of those biases is because of the environment and ecosystem. We see that company at Stanford, they get the term sheet in 1 week, and the poor genius guy in Singapore or Far East or wherever they are, keep pitching, and people look at them, are you crazy? Same idea here can grow 100 times bigger, but over there, that's different. But I'm trying to not be biased. I try to like those people and then help them to do it here. Yes, you can grow your team, you can do it, but let's raise money in Silicon Valley. Let's get your first customer here. Let's get your first corporate partners or corporate customers through the network that we have. And then gradually remove all the biases from my side to my colleagues, everyone.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to just go with a Stanford or a Berkeley graduate. We might go with someone from Singapore or Hong Kong or Korea or Japan or Australia. Actually, I know Plug and Play has done a lot with Hong Kong and Singapore and these other markets and Japan too, and Korea. Asia has really come on strong as a region. And could you comment about what you're seeing, how these markets are growing and developing, and are they going to become their own Silicon Valleys, or are they already their own Silicon Valleys?
So smart people are everywhere. It's about the ecosystem and environment. And we at
Right.
we are very committed to build those ecosystems in partnership with them, in partnership with their government and local corporations. But a good indication of if they are doing good or not is the number of startups that they're getting generated for their best school.
Okay.
If you have, let's say, Hong Kong University or NUS or Tokyo University,
Right.
a lot of times you're measuring those schools based on number of patents, number of IPs,
Hmm.
and citations that coming from the work and research work that they're over there or the people over there, the researchers are doing. But I think this is shifting. For sake of economy and having a better economy, it will shift to the number of companies and startups getting generated that has something to do with that school.
Okay.
So in average, a good school like MIT, Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley, they generate about 300 startups per year. If you're generating 5, so you know where you are on the ladder. If you're generating 20, you know where you are. Our goal is getting the best practices from different places and bring it to wherever we go and then educate that market to generate more startups. When you're generating more startups, the sense of ownership, the team building, the growing, the job market, everything is getting stronger. I think this nation here in the United States, one of the reasons the job market is very good is because it's a startup nation.
Mm.
People don't wait for someone to give them a job. They start their own company. They hire their own friends, their own family. And then this is the secret of keeping the job market under unemployment under 4%, because some of these numbers has direct tie. If economy is not good, but job market is good, because there is some secret to it. And I believe that secret is the number of jobs that are created by startups. Any developing nation, if they want to have a better future, is just promoting their own young entrepreneurs and help them to grow. Then the job market will get fixed. They will sell the companies, they will pay their own tax, they will pay their own shares, and everybody will benefit from the entire cycle of ecosystem.
Right, right. So you just brought up young entrepreneurs. You made me think that at Consumer Electronics Show, there were a lot of new gadgets for aging, around health, weight, you name it, anything to do with mobility, with aging. Aging was a very popular theme. Actually, it didn't get a lot of prominence, but I happened to notice it. And are you also working with any particular companies on aging innovations? Make aging.
We don't do as much hardware or gadget related stuff.
Okay.
But I do see, especially a Japanese market, they do care about aging. In US, we do care about aging. And on the software side, some of these solutions are phenomenal to help. Let's say we have seen people using LiDAR right now for at-home care, because they used to use camera. Camera has a privacy issue. You don't want to install camera at the bathroom or wherever you are. But a LiDAR, no privacy issue. If you're down, if something happened to elderly and the older people, immediately will notify whoever's supposed to get notification. And those are perfect. Or think of this, you forget about something. Okay, maybe the AI, maybe longevity, maybe all those big solutions out there helping you to remember, and then practice like learning, and then you basically get far from Alzheimer or dementia and all the other issues. At the same time, the ratio of the drug discovery with AI is just much faster. So it's much easier. You go there. So all together can improve the process. And this is why some people saying easily everyone will get to age of 100 years old because the technology is advancing.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the year, everyone famous who was dying was 100 years or older, like Henry Kissinger, Sandra Day O'Connor, all these people. Okay, wow, that's great. Look, what other fields do you think are the most disruptive, or that deserve to be the most disrupted today? We talked a little bit about energy, healthcare a little bit, other areas. What's the most disruptive area that you're seeing, that you're paying attention to?
some of this area. I think battery in general
Okay,
will have a real impact on our life, from the car, from the home, from everything, from charging, recharging, the
okay,
infrastructure. Any gas station, when you go out, you see they are not going to be around sometime soon. It's going to get replaced. But whoever is gonna do work on this one, we have a company named Dimog, that's the CEO of the company started this idea with co-founder of Tesla, whoever was in charge of the battery at the beginning, named Ian Wright. And Satish, who's the CEO, has this vision that it shouldn't take that much time for you to charge or use the battery. And it shouldn't be only for passengers, car, and so on. It should be for everything. Why
yeah,
you have this? All of you will feel when I'm saying this one. The cleaner, when they come and do the garden cleaning and so on. Why this? You should have this annoying noise in your head every single day, every single week. So if you just replace that one with a battery, that blower is not going to make that much noise and that much smoke and be bad for environment, bad for you that you're sleeping or you doing anything. That annoying noise should go away. Same way for off the road, for tractors, for all the machineries, for agriculture. They should be all electric. Yes, that's a new movement,
Yeah.
but you will enjoy from it. The industry will enjoy from it. Or there's a company named Elan Road in Sweden. They built continuous charging solution with the strip that they putting on asphalt. The car can go on and on and on 24/7 and get charged as it's going.
Oh,
Okay, so that's phenomenal. So think of an autonomous car between A to B, let's say 200 miles, no driver, no stop, nothing for charging. Take the passenger from A to B, C, D, wherever they go, like a train. It doesn't need anything. So we didn't have those opportunities before, but right now it's happening. But all of them, they have one thing in common, battery. So this will be on the material side, on the service integration side, on the deployment side. There's so many businesses will get shaped around that. And the energy companies will be the battery companies in the future, who can store more, who can be safer, what type of range, what type of charging, what type of recharging, how environment friendly those batteries are, how we can store it, for hydrogen related cars, because it's easy. If it's a hydrogen, everywhere we can do it. How we can make it safe. The power plant be hydrogen bases, the battery storing that on. So it's a new world.
so
And
what will the gas stations look like in the future?
so a gas station, hopefully you don't need to stop by anymore to charge your car. A gas station, from my point of view, I think it will look like a power plant with the hydrogen that pumping the energy through the grid everywhere. And then you have a
Us?
continuous movement.
Oh, you don't have to stop anywhere. Well, how long is it going to be before we get that highway strip?
So it's right now, I saw a video of that in Sweden. They are working right now in some other countries to put it there. It was phenomenal. And if you go to their website, Elan Road, you can see it. It's a researcher that worked on this idea for about 10 years in Sweden, not at Stanford, not at MIT, not on top, in Sweden. So as I said, smart people are everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps that you have an international background that you can spot these things and you don't have an automatic bias to
Of
the
course.
Stanford circle or the Berkeley circle or the Harvard circle or MIT circle or any other top university. So that's great. So look, let's talk a little bit about how you have succeeded in your own career. You have so many unicorns that you've invested in, and you've had companies exit to Facebook and to other Baidu, to other major companies. Can you share a little bit about your secret to success?
So I don't know how much you can call it success, but I enjoy from the job. That's a success, I think.
Okay.
Best part of this job is that the moment that you remember who you know, how you can help those companies. We just give them a comment that business may not work. We give them a comment that you may talk to this guy, to the other guys. But I will say 90% of the job is hard work. You go look at the companies, you build this one. Initially, when I started, I thought if I go review 1,000 companies, I will know everything. But after getting to 1,000 mark, I felt that I don't know anything. I said maybe we need to go after 5,000, 10,000. And then I spent many, many more hours to get to that number. And today, I think I have reviewed about 100,000 companies. I will tell you, there is nothing for you after even getting to 100,000 companies to know about it. It's about people. The opportunities is equivalent to number of people out there. Each one of them can be the next big, big, iconic founder, VCs, or CEOs. It's a matter of what type of environment you put them. It's a matter of who they met during their time. It's a matter of who they get as an investor on their cap table. The rest is hard work. And be smart hard workers, and be passionate about what you do. And put yourself as the last one in the line and put the others first. I think that's the secret sauce. If you are thinking about yourself, it may not happen. But if you're thinking about whoever you're working with first, definitely that type of energy, positive energy that you get, will help you to grow. And I have seen you will benefit from it myself.
And
But
I've seen you in action in Hong Kong, where you were a keynote speaker. I invited you there, and you landed no jet lagged. How many meetings did you have the first day? Just totally off the plane from San Francisco, back-to-back meetings.
good, yeah, good number of meetings. But you need to make sure you don't waste your time. You go take it. But it was fun. It was fun. I met a lot of smart people over there as well.
That's good. That's good. Well, we have another question from our dedicated audience here. What percent of the 100,000 companies made money for their stockholders?
Good question. From these companies that I have reviewed, I have invested for plug and play over 300 or so companies. Those I have number for you. In average, about 10% of the companies, when you do early stage investment, will make to next level. And 1% of the total number, which I mentioned, 10% of that will go to next level, will be at the unicorn status. But building this in is a very tough, means every 10,000 companies, one of them will be unicorn. But finding them and building and nurturing the company at the right environment will change the future of that company, if I answer your question. So making money for their shareholders, not necessarily whoever is a unicorn can make a lot of money. Sometimes some of these ideas are big enough to jump a few rounds of financing with less dilution for the investors. Those are the one that you make it. I wish Eileen Lee, when she used the word of unicorn and the word get adopted, I will give her the credit of inventing the word for it. But it should be a word for fast forward company. It should be a word for companies that make most of the result or profit for the shareholders too. But
Right.
right now, you don't see it as much. So a company that goes public, if you're the first investor, sometimes you can make up to 1,000x. And you need only one of them. But which one is that? I'm not sure. I don't know about it.
So you have a number of unicorns in your portfolio right now. Can you give us a few examples from that from your unicorns you have that you're invested in right now that might grow up and be that one in 100,000?
Yeah. So as I said, I wish I knew it, but we had a company, they started in Brazil. They came here. The company name is CloudWalk. And they had this vision of, okay, in Brazilian market, when you, as a merchant, when you as a customer buying something, the merchant doesn't get paid because there's a process going to the banks, payment processing, and so on. They said merchant, they need their money because they want to buying all the inventory that they have, push it back again to the market. So they built a payment processing company or ecosystem of that to recycle this as soon as they can at the same day, same time. The company right now does over 100 million revenue. The last round valuation was over 2 billion. And what is phenomenal about this is the number of merchants that they're getting added to their system is sometimes like a B2C company. People download an app and they have 1 million merchants. So if sometimes you bring and solve a real issue for anything, and for human, for businesses, for individuals, it flies super fast. It's growing like exponential right now. This company for sure will grow over 500 million or so revenue. And now they're doing phenomenal. But then they go public, as it gets bigger and bigger, it has its own risk too. But there are many big companies out there, many big companies.
What's the biggest mistake that you see startup entrepreneurs doing?
The biggest mistake as at the human level is that not be open to share the cap table with your co-founders. If you're a solo founder, the chance for you to make it big is not high. And that's a big mistake. If you get greedy, you're decreasing your chance. You have a 100% of a small pie, but it's better to have very small percentage of a huge pie. That's the biggest mistake that we have seen, or I see it at daily basis.
Okay, and what about among your corporate investors? What is the biggest mistake that the corporate investors are doing?
The biggest mistake, they don't make a mistake, they're fighting their own way up for generating revenue to staying as a public company, the sooner that they get to the game of a startup, the bigger the corporation would be. The sooner that you open the gate and be open to work with the companies, the bigger P&L, the bigger profit you will have. Because some of these legacy software, some of these legacy businesses that they are in needs to get changed. And I will say this one, go back year 2000, pull the May list of Fortune 500, bring it to the last year May, and see how many of those are repeated. You will see more than half of them are not there anymore.
Right. Oh, we certainly have seen a big shift in the top companies worldwide, from the industrial companies to the tech-oriented companies today. And maybe that will be the AI-oriented companies of tomorrow.
Yeah, but AI is a tool, like what Java did to the web, AI is doing right now. So
That's true.
in 3 years, the AI will not be buzzword anymore. It's about the business. What type of business will you do?
Right. So
Whoever,
do you have to have .ai at the end of your startup in order to get financing today?
not really, not really, not really.
Okay. Also, we have a question about, you mentioned that Brazil company. Could you give the name again? That's a question from the audience.
Cloud walk, cloud like cloud on sky, and walk like walking, WALK.
Okay, Cloud Walk. All right, there you go. And yeah, so look, where do you think we're going in terms of valuations in venture? We had last year was not the greatest year for venture investment in terms of the growth. But we also saw a large number of deals that were very big, in terms of valuation. You think we're going to continue to see that, these huge valuations for fewer deals happening? Or where do you see the venture cycle for next year, for
So
this year, actually?
correction is happening, but if you look at the non high valuation on AI side and get average with a low valuation on the other industry, you will see the medium average valuation is not that far from what it was before. But people getting realized when Dropbox, when Airbnb and those guys back 2008 raising money, or 2007 raising money, they all start with 2 million valuation. First, they want to raise 400K, 500K at 2 million pre-money. Typical same companies today, they ask for 5 to 10 million valuation. So you see average 2, 3, 5x increase. If you apply this one, you're going all the way up, you see it's not that far. But we are not pushing the companies to raise on big valuation because there's no value to it. You should share, as I said, your cap table with your investor too. Whoever buys that much risk at the beginning, they should get compensated the same way that you get compensated. And if you are exiting at $50 million, still you can make good money. But the investor, if they invest at 33 million valuation and exiting at 50, they're not going to make money.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you should be fair, and we highly recommend get the right investor on your cap table, but be fair to them.
right, right. And you work with a lot of prominent venture capital firms, so you're seeing this from a very good perspective.
We do,
I think, yeah.
and we highly recommend that you have good number of investors on board. And watch your investor. There are some investors that they may not be entrepreneur friendly. Get to know them. Don't raise money from them. You need to have a friend on your board. You don't want someone, because you cannot get divorced from them.
Right. Well, we've seen a lot of board issues in recent months, and we're continuing to see this issue of how much equity. I'm just thinking about Elon Musk making some extra demands. Okay, so there's another question here. We're just going to squeeze this one in. What do you see with Metaverse and Apple Vision Pro?
So that's a good question. I don't have, unfortunately, the answer on these. We will look at the market reaction on it. When the Google Glass came, some of the big names, funds, they put a dedicated fund even toward that. But
Hmm?
when the market is not ready, it's hard to say. I don't know if this time market is ready, what would be the reaction? 3,000, 4,000 ticket size for a device. For sure, a lot of people cannot afford to buy. Is going to be mainstream? I don't know. When the ticket price is that high, I doubt it's going to get big that fast. But if it's getting lower and lower and lower, maybe, because there's a need for this.
Right, right. Well, this has been a wonderful discussion, and I'd really like to thank you for your time and taking your time from your busy schedule and seeing all of those startups all the time. It's amazing. So let me just go to my screen one more time and share a few points about what we have coming up. And just give me a moment. Okay, you can see what I've got on my mind there on my desktop. Okay, so look, we have been doing this show fairly regularly, and Invest Hong Kong has been a main supporter for us for this show. So thank you very much. And also our Circle members who, once you join the membership, you get to come to this show and our live events as well. Our next one is going to be with Eddie Chan of Intudo Ventures, and keeping with the global theme, he is going to be zooming in from Jakarta. So we're going to hear about Indonesia next week, January 25th, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And the reason we're doing 4 p.m. Pacific time is that he's in Jakarta, and that's morning hit time, 8 a.m. his time. So, okay. We just did a great event in Vegas at Consumer Electronics Show. Next, we're looking at South by Southwest in Austin. So stay tuned for that early March. I already mentioned the Circle membership, but you can join it right here, Silicon Dragon Circle 2024, and become one of our community members. And thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate it. And Alireza, thank you again for your time. I really learned a lot. We could have gone another hour, but the day clock is ticking. So thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, everyone, for the questions and spending the time here and listening to us.
Okay, excellent. See you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.